Hi folks, my perspective here. In this video clip, we're going to look at an altitude indicator from an airplane. We're going to see how this proves beyond any doubt that the aeroplane is flying over a flat plane and not a curved surface. Now, mixed with this, we're going to look at a video clip posted by C.W. Lemoine. We're going to question what he's saying and we're going to debunk him. So, look, keep in mind that often people just want to rattle your cage. Now, there's a red flag. If they can rattle your cage, that means you're in a cage. So the cage is your emotions. Don't let them rattle your cage. So there are things that we can easily prove and see that prove that the aeroplane is flying over a flat, level plane. So let's listen to Lemoine, and we're going to question and see what's actually going on with this fellow.
I can't believe I'm even answering this because it's so stupid, but I've gotten a lot of these questions, and so...
Do you understand what he's saying? He said he's not smart enough to answer questions. It's easier for him to call everyone an idiot. What's actually going on here? It's simple. They don't want you to question whether the earth is flat or a ball. Because as soon as you do, you're going to see that there's problems with the ball earth, and we're going to address these problems. So with Lemoine, I don't know if it's because he's only got one eye functioning, or this guy's got issues with his eyes. If both eyes work properly, we're going to put that to the test.
I thought this was literally, I thought the flat earth people were a joke.
Right, so we're going to see who's the real joker. We're going to ask a simple question. Can you use an attitude indicator to fly around a curved horizon? We're going to see who's the real joker. What is the real joke? The flat earth or the ball earth? Now, in his video, Lemoine he interviews a Lockheed U2 pilot, and we're going to address and discuss what he says, and we'll put it to the test. So the nickname for the Lockheed U2 is called the Dragon Lady. So this egg that this Dragon Lady hatches, we're going to question this. So is this reality or is this just a dumbass fantasy? And there's easy ways we can do this. Look, if they can show you an image like this, you can put this image to the test. And it's actually quite easy. You just got to stop, look and think. So, there are some things that I know as an artist and in perspective, that if I have a bulldozer, the length of it is 3 meters, how far away from this loader must I be for me to see it within that same frame of reference of 3 meters? Well, the answer is, if I line up all the lines, it must be 3 meters away from me. The same distance. So we're going to use this bulldozer to bulldoze a lot of the garbage that they're saying. If this is the image that's presented to you, that's the curve of the earth, right? Well, you can take that image, you draw a circle. That's the ball earth, right? We ask the question, what is the altitude of that Lockheed U2? Well, the maximum altitude that they claim is 21 kilometers. Now we know the radius of the earth is 6,371 kilometers. So we can take that measurement, right, which matches their image, the ball earth, we can shift it up underneath the image. What does this tell you? How far must this U2 Lockheed be from that point on that ball? Well, it has to be the same, 6,371 kilometers. So he obviously cannot be flying at 21 kilometers. This U2 pilot, I don't know what his name is, it's not worth remembering because he's a liar. We're going to put him to the test. Right, so if we ask the question, right, if you take that image, right, and you just place the cockpit in front, that would be your perspective. We're giving this image some perspective, understanding. We'll see that, well, is it a dragon lady? Nah, it's a donkey lady. The images don't match up with reality. Go back to a pilot, Lemoine. He's saying he's getting a lot of stupid questions he can't answer. So who's the fool? Who is the stupid one? It's him. What kind of aeroplane is he flying? So we're going to question this and we're going to use the attitude indicator to help us. But first we're going to look at their attitude. What is the attitude of Lemoine and this pilot? And we're going to see there's problems with this.
Question. I can't believe I'm even answering this because it's so stupid, but I've gotten a lot of these questions, and so...
I'm smart, you're dumb. I'm big, you're little. I'm right, you're wrong. And there's nothing you can do about it.
So we see this Lemoine, very arrogant. He has a lot of attitude, right? But it doesn't mean he's right. His attitude is way off. So understand, for him it's a joke. What's the issue is they don't want you to ask questions or to think about it. But ultimately, you have the right to. It's about the truth and integrity and justice. You have all the right in the world to put it to the test and question it. Are we living on a flat earth or are we living on a ball? And they don't want you to question it. Why? Because as soon as you question it, you're going to see there's some serious problems with a ball. And an attitude indicator is going to help us to prove that the earth is.
Like, I didn't think they really existed, but so he says you didn't notice how your guest didn't answer your question. And I did ask that question in the interview with Splint because it was a joke.
Do you see curvature, or is it just flat and then you fall off the face of the earth? What is the definitive answer?
There I was. I flew all the way to the edge of the earth, and I looked down and I turned back around. I didn't want to go off. No.
Right, so this is cage rattling, right? So let's ask a question. Which one can you fall off from? A flat level plane and a ball. You can fall off from both. So why is the top one so funny? They're the same. You can fall off from both. Let's rephrase that question. Which one is it impossible to stand on? A flat stationary earth or a moving spinning ball? The moving spinning ball earth is impossible to stand on. So you're saying, well, gravity keeps you stuck to the earth. If that's true, gravity can't cause you to stand upright. You'll be flip-flopping around this ball like a fish. It can't keep you standing up. It'll just suck you down to the earth. So the notion is a lot of nonsense. It doesn't add up. As soon as you think about it, we see that there's issues. Let's just think about it logically. Which one is the real joke? Here's a child on a flat level surface running, and here are kids running on a ball. The real joke is trying to stay upright and running around and moving around on a spinning ball. So the whole issue is they just turn it around, and this is cage rattling. They're laughing at the reality to get you to actually accept the one that's the real joke. They're trying to say you can't fall off a spinning flying ball. And where the reality is, it's impossible for you to stay upright on a spinning flying ball. Let's look at their attitude. Then we're going to look at the attitude indicator of the airplane. So what does their attitude indicate? Their personal attitude indicates there's a problem.
Is it just flat and then you fall off the face of the earth? What is the definitive answer?
There I was. I flew all the way to the edge of the earth, and I looked down and I turned back around. I didn't want to go off. No. It's definitely round, and it is comical that that's even a thing. But whatever, man. If people want to believe it and it makes them happy, then so be it.
So how do you tell when someone is being deceptive? Well, when you ask a legitimate question, what is this YouTube pilot's response? His response is to initially lie. He says, well, I flew to the end of the earth and I looked down and then I flew back. That's a lie, but he's making out as if it's a joke. Then he gives you an answer, because remember, this is supposed to be a definitive answer from someone who's been there and seen it. He says, no, it's round. Well, we're going to question that. Then another joke. Then the question is comical. And then he justifies his attitude by saying, well, then you believe whatever you want to believe. In other words, what is he saying? That if you don't believe him, there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with you if you believe different. So, they simply don't want you to question it, because as soon as you do, you will see the truth. You have to question things to see the truth. So we see there's something wrong with his attitude. He's not being honest. Now we're going to check the attitude indicator from an airplane. What does this help us to understand? Remember, if that's the attitude indicator, then the level of the ball must be there. We're going to look at this right at the end and show that this is just dumbass stupid. It's a lie. Remember, they don't want you to ask questions. So, airplanes are designed to fly level with the earth that's underneath them. If that airplane is flying at an angle, it would fly in the direction that the front of that airplane is pointed towards. Because that airplane needs to have lift, and that lift is created by the wind that's flying over the wings. That airplane would stall if it's flying at an angle. It would stall. An airplane can't fly at an angle towards the horizon. You can go and read it and do your own homework and check this out. So what we're going to do is we can go to the Earth Curve calculator, and it's going to help us understand some things. So for example, if your eyesight level is 1.6 meters, the distance to the horizon would be 4.5 kilometers. If there's an object behind the horizon at 10 kilometers away, right, that object, part of that object would be obscured by 2.3 meters. So we're not going to worry about the obscured bit. We're just looking at our distance to the horizon and our altitude. Right, so if we put these numbers to the test, an airplane flying 12 kilometers high, the horizon would be 390 kilometers in front of him. So what does that help you to understand? Just stop and think. What if the plane turns around and keeps the same altitude and attitude? So that plane is flying at 12 kilometers, its altitude. The horizon then would be 390 kilometers in front of it. And behind? Well, it must be 24 kilometers. So what happens if that plane turns around? If that plane turns around, there would be an added altitude height of 24 kilometers if that aeroplane keeps its same attitude. So do you see? It's simple logic and simple reasoning. So if that aeroplane is flying at 12 kilometers above the Earth, the horizon in front of it must be 24 kilometers. Therefore, that aeroplane must be flying at an angle to maintain the 12 kilometers. So, do you see the issue that this raises? How does this help? If we reason and think about this, if we think of how an attitude indicator works, what does this help us to understand? And stop and think. Look, if the airplane has to keep that altitude, that's his angle, right? If that airplane turns around, what has to happen? He can't maintain his same attitude. He has to change his attitude in the opposite angle. This doesn't happen. He would have to if the Earth was a curve. If the pilot was seeing a curved ball Earth in front of him, or if he was flying over a curve. So we see their bad attitude is brought out by an attitude indicator from an airplane. They're exposed as liars and frauds. They're just nonsense deceivers, liars. So, think about this. If that airplane is flying over a curved path, what if that airplane now flew in a circle? It has to see the horizon in front of it. Means his altitude and his attitude has to keep changing if what they're saying is true. He cannot maintain altitude and attitude if he flies in a circle. So let's put that to the test. That airplane, right, if he flies in a circle, that's his attitude at so many degrees. If he flies in a circle, he can maintain his attitude and he can maintain his altitude at the same time. The only way that this can happen is that whatever this airplane is flying over must be flat. There isn't any change in altitude and attitude because it's flat. Let's apply the same logic to a ball. If they're saying, well, there's a ball in front of the airplane, if that airplane flies in a circle, he has to change his attitude and his altitude. He cannot maintain the same altitude and attitude if he's flying over a curve. Remember the U2 pilot saying he's flying over a ball Earth. This proves him a liar. It doesn't add up. It cannot be. So this exposes their bad attitude, they're liars, and it exposes the attitude indicator tells us that the Earth is flat. So let's think about the Lockheed U2. Its maximum altitude is 21 kilometers. So how far is the horizon from it? According to the math, it's 518 kilometers. If he's flying level, then what is the drop in the altitude? Must be 42 kilometers. So what does this help you understand? That the U2 plane, its attitude indicator would prevent him from seeing the horizon. That's what it's telling you. The U2 plane could never see the horizon in front of him. Remember, he has to fly level. Therefore, he can never see the horizon in front of him if he's flying level. So there's the U2, right? Let's just think about it logically. He has to fly over a level Earth. So the U2 has to fly level with the Earth because his attitude indicator is keeping him level with the horizon and the Earth below him. So if that pilot turns, he banks to his right, he levels out, he comes back to the same attitude. If he banks again, he still comes back to the same attitude, and each time it was the same amount of degrees in his turn, in his attitude. Now, if it's a ball, as soon as he banks to his right, he comes back to the same attitude, because that's what gyroscopes will do. Do you see the problem? And if he banks again, his attitude indicator wouldn't work. It would keep changing. So the attitude indicator tells us that this pilot cannot be flying over a ball earth. So let's stop and think about it logically. If this plane sees the ball earth in front of itself, this U2, which this is what this pilot is saying, this U2 pilot is saying, where is the altitude on his right hand side? Well, it's below him. It's not at the same attitude. And his angle of the plane, if he turns right, has to completely change. All three axes must change. That doesn't happen. Right, so instead, these pilots are lying. And we're exposing their bad attitude. They are lying. They're just clowns.
No, it's definitely round, and it is comical that that's even a thing.
So who are the comics? It's these two clowns. Look, it's logical. Where, if this is the horizon, right, and it's level with the U2 wing, then where the dumbass is this pilot going? Remember, that's what his attitude indicator would indicate. Where is this idiot flying? Where is he going? What would his attitude indicator be in front of him? Right? And now he's flying around this ball earth. It's dumbass stupid. The guy is an idiot. So this is a video clip. I've sped it up, right? So this is another video clip where these people have said, well, there you can see the ball. Now look how dumbass stupid this is. This is so ridiculously stupid. And this is from a science program that's on TV. So do you see the problem here? Just stop and think. So there the ball earth is behind the plane. Now the ball earth is in front, then the ball earth on the side. Then the ball earth in the front, then it's on the right. This is just so stupid, it's insane. Who are the fools and the liars and the stupid people? People who believe this nonsense that the airplane's flying over a ball earth. It's logical. Just stop and think. What's the problem? Stop and think. Look, if that airplane sees the ball in front, then the camera turns to the right. Now the ball is on the right hand side. He turns the camera to front, there the ball's in front again. He turns the camera to the back, now the ball's at the back. While this plane is flying over this dumbass ball. Then he turns the camera to the left and the ball's on the left. So the dragon lady, right? What is the egg it's hatching? It's garbage, it's nonsense, it's a lie, it's deception. So they've got their reasons for lying. You just got to work it out yourself. The thing is that they are lying. So Lemoine, right? This man is supposed to be a pilot. If he turns his head to the left, the ball's in front of him. He turns his head to the right, the ball's in front of him. He turns his head to the front, the ball's in front. And if he turns his head to the back, the ball's at the back. Because he's an idiot. And he's a liar. Recognize these people for who they are. They don't want you to question the truth. And the truth is obvious. You can't hide it. It exposes itself. The truth becomes evident. We should just think about it. The only way that this man, this idiot, can see the horizon in front of him, turn his head to the left and see the same horizon in the left, and keep his attitude the same, right, is if he's flying over a flat plane. But because his attitude stinks, right, he's just an arrogant fool and is a liar, right, they're trying to rattle your cage. That's all it is. Remember, forget the emotions, put that aside. Just look at simple logic. Look at the simple numbers and you'll see the truth. Now here's a question for you. How do you honor someone? Well, one way is by telling them the truth. If you're in the military, right, and you're an officer and someone comes and salutes you, right, it's a sign of respect and honor. Then that person lies to you in your face. Then his salute means absolutely nothing. Now, I used to be an instructor in the military. I fought in Angola, I fought in a few places, and I trained troops from a few countries. Now, I want to ask you another question. Can you salute a flag and at the same time deceive the people that that flag represents? What do you think? The answer is obviously no. It's disrespectful. The man has no honor, he has no integrity. Right? And these people are supposed to be officers in the military. Really? Really? Wow. Okay. So, these guys, right? What is the whole point about this whole issue? It's about the truth, integrity and justice. You have the right to question. You have the right to know the truth. That's what justice means. The issue is they can't prevent you from having justice. They can't prevent you from thinking about things. They can't prevent you from questioning the truth. But they can discourage you from asking the questions. So this Lemoine, his whole thing is just a show to put you off from asking questions. So I want to encourage you, ask the questions. Because then the truth will become evident. As soon as you question it, you will see the truth. And it's not, we ain't living on a ball earth. Right, so I want to conclude with Thomas Jefferson. He said, honesty is the first chapter in the book of wisdom. And that is true. People who tell the truth display wisdom. So, cheers and thanks for watching.